Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost. I'm shimmy shimmy YouTube famous now. Available in 2020. The year of James Charles. The album Fame. Or maybe he'll steal it and call it the Fame Monster too. When I grow up, I want to be famous. I want to be a star. I want to have groupies. Are those the words from the Pussycat Dolls song? I love the Pussycat Dolls. I love the Pussycat Dolls. The Pussycat Dolls. I love the Pussycat Dolls so much. Anyway, I dedicate that version of that song to James Charles directly, who wanted to be famous, and you are, James. And guess what? You have everything that comes along with that, including being accused of stealing other people's artistic designs. So we're going to talk about that today. This is something that's kind of like a really big deal, and I have covered it with all different kinds of YouTubers. I think the very first person that I ever covered it with was Simply Kenna, when she was accused of stealing an indie artist's design. But what's interesting about this is that the very first drama video that I ever did was about Jeffree Star and Kat Von D, and an argument that they actually got into, which ended their friendship. That was initially what ended their friendship, over this logo that I think it was Kat Von D's friend made for Jeffree, and there was something about the payment or something that had happened. I don't know, you have to go way back. This is 2016, September 1st, around that time. And it was my introduction to the drama world, and it's the logo that he uses today. So it was very interesting how that all started. And so this is a really serious issue. You know, when we talk about these things, and I know to some people it seems like, well, oh, it's just a sweatshirt design, or it's just a thought or something that somebody had. This is why I take creative endeavors very, very seriously. When it comes to anybody's creative endeavors. There's a lot of people out there that work very hard on their art, whether that's music or whether that's, you know, drawings. What was the guy on Saturday Night Live that used to talk about doing drawings? Whether that's doing, you know, drawing or painting or theater or poetry or writing or whatever. And I take it very, very seriously. It's one of the issues why, as an author and as a booktuber, I have huge, huge issues with, specifically a lot of YouTubers out there, because it doesn't really happen with anybody else, who have ghost-written fiction novels. And what that means is that they come up with the idea, and then they have somebody else write that book. And Zoe Sugg is somebody that has been accused of that. She actually, on her book, has a ghost author associated with her, and Joey Graceffa is the other person with his Children of Eden series, which I have no desire to ever read, because he didn't write the books. He came up with the ideas, allegedly. And then if you look on the author side of all of it, where he signed he was doing book signings and stuff, it has his name on there. And I'm like, so somebody else wrote a book with your ideas on it. Like, and I know people are like, what's the big deal? It's like if you went to, I don't know, it's like if you went to somebody's art gallery opening and they didn't do any of the art. They just were like, I think that we should do a study in red. And you went, and it was a study in red. And because of who they were, let's say if it was somebody like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of, like, Celine Dion or something, right? And she would get all these people to come and buy her art and all these people to come in, but she didn't do the painting, somebody else did, right? Like, so this whole thing to me is not just about, whose idea it is or whatever. It's also about the fighting artist out there that is trying really hard to get their art recognized. And when bigger people are taking art, whether it's called stealing or theft or whatever you want to call it, or create it, I mean, because people are like, well, nobody owns a creative idea. No, but it's a bad look. It's a really bad look to take somebody else's creative idea and make it your own. It just is, you know? And it's been done for years and years and years, and there's part of me that feels like you can't reinvent the wheel anyway, so a lot of stuff is going to come back and look similar to others. But I have a lot of feelings associated with this James Charles situation, what is it? I don't know a whole lot about this other person, Ethan Klein, from, what is it, H3H3, their merch. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. But, you know, you have to break it down, because when you take a look at it from this point of view, and it's like two huge YouTubers that have two different social media people that have two huge followings of their own, okay? That's one thing, but it's the message that you're sending out, right? And especially to James Charles, when he has an audience that's much younger. he's sending out the message that it's okay to do this, to just, you know, whatever. And there's a lot of back and forth that's going on of he said, she said kind of stuff, and he said, we're going to stuff. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before I do, I want to give, well, first of all, I need to put on my lip gloss because you can see, I was like, I don't really have a lot to say about this. And I just got in here and I'm like, hey, listen, I said in 2020 I was going to say what I had to say, and it's 2020 and I'm saying what I have to say. And anytime I mention like Zoe or Joey's books and how they're so off-putting to me, people are like, I get a lot of backlash for that. People are like, why do you care so much? I have a huge issue with it. I do. When there are authors out there that literally cannot get in front of a literary agent, cannot get into a publisher, cannot get anywhere, and somebody's ghostwriting a book saying that it's theirs, and they actually sat down there. I wrote a book. I know how difficult that is. To sit down and put the time and effort into it, to write a book and then put your name on it. I'm not talking about a ghostwritten memoir. I'm not talking about a ghostwritten nonfiction book where you dictate your stories. I'm talking about a work of fiction, a creative endeavor, you know? Like, I don't know. I just have a lot of feelings around that. So I have a lot of friends in my life that are, you know, mural painters and artists and watercolorists and fashion designers. And when their things are taken and spun even just a little bit and somebody else calls it their own, I see how discouraging that is for them and how hard that is because they put time and energy into it, you know? It's not just merch. It's not just money. And I think that's the really sad thing to all of this, you know, is that to some degree, like, Ethan Klein is saying all this kind of stuff, and it's about, like, he's talking about it from a point of view of, like, do you see what you did? Like, do you see the lesson behind this? And James Charles is making it a business thing, and it's really just, it is a business thing, but it's not. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But first I want to give a few, I hope I saved them, birthday shout-outs. So do I have just one? Hold on a second. Okay, who is this? Me said, tomorrow is my birthday, Ben, and then she said some other things, would love a video shout-out. Oh, so here's your video shout out. Happy birthday to you, me. And I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Go check out my Peterisms video. She said some other things in there. And go check out my Peterisms video today, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then Rachel said, can I get an early birthday shout out? Please. My birthday is 9/29. I will be 25. I've been a huge fan of yours for years and even bought one of your candle collabs before and loved it. Oh, thank you so much. So happy birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Anyway, I just want to say I started my Cameo yesterday, which I never really knew what to think about this Cameo thing. I always kind of thought it was a little corny. So I set it up yesterday really being like, okay, nobody's going to, like, I'll get one, maybe, right? I didn't really realize what I was getting myself into. Needless to say, I know what I'll be doing this weekend. I just want to thank you guys. I literally got flooded with Cameo requests, okay? And I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me. But yeah, so thank you so much about that. If the price influx is a little bit, it might just be because I cannot meet the original demand, but I will lower that down later again. So go over there and check it out. It's linked below. I just want to say thank you so much. I've even reached out to a couple people for clarification of what they wanted. So I haven't even done one yet. I'm nervous about it. So those will be up in the next couple days. So thank you so much for everybody that got a Cameo from me. I'm really excited about that. And everybody that's watching my new channel, I put up my 3rd video over there on Peter Does Stuff yesterday. I went through my album collection, like my record album collection and vinyl, I guess we call it today, you know? And then so many people have bought my merch and my candles are sold out. And I just want to say thank you. I mean, when people talk about living their best life, getting up every single day and being able to do what you absolutely do or love to do is like living your best life to me. You know, when you really feel like you're so connected to what you love to do and that people are enjoying that as well, like that is part for me of living my best life. It really is, because I think it's such a phony statement anyway, you know, but it really is. I get to wake up every day and do what I love. And, you know, like through my back pain and things like that, to have this to look forward to has been just so fantastic, and all the encouragement and all the suggestions. And so many people sent me things like books to read about back pain and pillows to sit on, which really helped me through the process, and all kinds of things. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for always being so supportive and watching my videos. And I just want you to know that no matter if I hit 10 million subscribers, that's never going to happen. But this is what it is about to me. And I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, I had all of my receipts ready for me, okay? And then I received, just moments before I was getting ready to do this video, oh, I brought my wrong glasses. I wanted to bring my other reading glasses. Well, these are fine. These are my Dan Levy glasses, don't you think? But anyway, just moments before, I received this tweet, a direct message from Sam. So, hey, Sam, how are you doing, girl? And I asked her, just so everybody knows, I said, hey, Sam, I already have my receipts out. My receipts! Whitney! What's that new Whitney Houston song that I have never sang on here? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of something that's not too sad. You know, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the meat. Family friendly. Okay. Okay, so anyway, I said to her, hey Sam, I already have my receipts out to make this video, but thought it might be more fun to read your direct info. Would you care if I read this straight off of here and show the pictures? And she put a heart. And then she said, yes, of course. Thanks so much. And then this is what I love so much, okay? People send me tea, and then I ask them if I can use it. And can I tell you what I get? Okay, I don't want to embarrass Sam, but this is what I get in response, which, like, this is what I mean when I say, like, thank you, okay? Like, you guys give me, I don't know if you have any idea, like, my husband gets messages all the time from people that are like, thank you for allowing Peter to share his life, you know, all this kind of stuff. He's like, what? You know, but no, he appreciates it. It really does. He really does. But, you know, I get so many really nice messages and people are like, you do this for me or you do, I mean, you guys have no idea what you do for me, okay? And let me tell you what she said. She said, I absolutely love your videos and I watch every single one. I've backed watching your vlogs all the way up to March so far. You've helped me so much in my life and I just want to say thank you. She said, I plan on writing you a letter, so I'll say more there. I mean, she didn't even have to say that. She could have just said, yeah, sure, use my tea. I don't care. But let's use her tea. So thank you, Sam, because that totally made my day. So Sam said, Peter, I don't know if anyone has told you this. Well, last night or yesterday afternoon when this started going down, I started receiving, I mean, DMs like it was like crazy, okay? I don't know if anyone has told you this yet, but James Charles ripped off. Now, I'm reading this exactly how she said it, okay? So don't come for me. Not for me. Not for me. How you gonna do it if you really don't want to dance with your back up off the wall? Get your back up. Those were the wrong words. Anyway, it's okay, but James Charles ripped off H3's Teddy Fresh color block hoodie design. Now, I did a little bit of my research, and we're going to talk about this in just a second. They went back and forth on Twitter a bit, but then James lied in a tweet and said H3 never responded. H3, Ethan, and I don't know his wife's name. I think it's his wife, Hyla Klein, Trisha's soon-to-be in-laws, LOL, said that James openly admitted in the DMs that his designers ripped it off, but said they don't have the same audience, so it doesn't matter, which isn't true. And Kim Kardashian just posted the James Charles PR package she received with a stolen hoodie. Please talk about this. And then she later said to clarify this, she said, people keep saying Teddy Fresh doesn't own color blocking, which is true. Nobody owns color blocking. It's ugly. I don't care for it. It only belongs in the late 80s and early 90s and on Project Runway because they talk about color blocking all the time on Project Runway. Nina Garcia is like this with her card. She's like, color blocking. No, I don't like that. And in chiffon, I don't think so. It's not editorial. So anyway, I love her so much. Can we just talk about Nina Garcia for a second? Since Nina Garcia doesn't get enough play on drama videos, Nina Garcia from Project Runway might be, like, one of the, like, do you ever think to yourself, like, if I could be somebody else, like, in the world? Now I see this block around my face, and now I know why it always goes in and out of being out of focus. That's why that block's not, it's always on these plants and things. Anyway, do you ever think to yourself, like, if you could be somebody else in this world, who would you be? Like, Stevie Nicks, obviously, would be one for me, but then Janet Jackson, maybe. Yo, Janet, I'm about to get this. You want this, but do you really think that you can get this out first? You distance. Now you want to kiss this. Tell them, girls. Too late, you missed this. Janet Jackson's one for me. I mean, Diana Ross, obviously. And then I have to say that Nina Garcia is, like, in my top 5. I love Nina Garcia so much. It's not editorial. She's so fantastic, isn't she? Anyway. Okay, so people keep saying Teddy Fresh. That's the merch brand or whatever of H3. Doesn't own color blocking, which is true, which is always the excuse. You don't own a creative idea. You don't own color blocking. You don't own chiffon. You don't own red pencils. You don't own makeup look just because you came up with it. No, but it's a bad look. It's a bad look to take, what's this hair hanging off my thing? It's a bad look, you know. I'm not going to that joke. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm not doing it. It's a bad look to take somebody else's idea, even closely to it, okay? And we're going to talk about what these pictures look like in just a second because they're like almost identical. So I digress. Which is true, but it's the exact same colors in the exact same place. Not exact, but very, very close. And James has a way bigger platform, so people are going to think Teddy Fresh is the one that stole it. Plus, go look at Ethan's feed for the receipts about James complaining about Wet n Wild ripping off his palette. Which is so true. Did y'all remember that? Oh my God, James Charles went crazy about the Wet n Wild palette. Oh, and this was before his Morphe palette came out, and then he went crazy. It was the same time that he went crazy because Marlene Estelle was doing this documentary that ended up being like one episode with Netflix. He's always upset when he doesn't get something that somebody else gets. Okay, Brett Man Rock got his own Instagram story. He wanted his own Instagram story. All these TikTokers got, he can't handle not being on the top. He really can't, you know? And this is where I said that James Charles' arrogance, cockiness, and ego are going to be the thing that bites him in the ass, and it's the truth. Because that's exactly what happened to Jeffree Star. And that's the exact same thing that happened to Shane Dawson. And he needs to learn from his predecessors. That these people, their ego, pride, and cockiness, and arrogance bit them in the ass. And they're not seeing it. And he's not seeing it from them because he thinks he's different. You aren't any different, okay? Your story's not unique. You know, your background story of who you are and what makes you up, all of that is completely different. But your rise to the top is the same as theirs. And you need to look very closely at that and learn from them, right? Because the people that you're standing on their backs to get to the top are the same people that you're going to follow when you're coming back down. Don't forget that. So, she also said, oh, and James lied and said Ethan didn't respond when really he said, I'll check with my team and get back to you, but never did. All this from H3 Live's podcast this afternoon. Sorry for all the messages. Now, I do want to say this, okay? For as serious as this whole situation is, okay? For the stealing of this and something that we're going to talk about, like Gila showed her, I think that's her name. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize to her and to everybody else out there in the world. So, gray hoodie, sweatshirt, I got her name wrong, okay? But as serious as it is, to dedicate a podcast to it, to go on and on about Twitter, why don't you just talk to him behind the scenes? Why don't you just say, and maybe, she's saying that he did, and that other things were said. I don't know. Could James Charles lie? These people lie. No, what? On a good Sunday? Never. Okay, so let's show these pictures, because this is, here's the pictures. So here's the first tweet. I'm taking this straight from what Sam sent me, but I have it too. Ethan Klein from H3H3 Production said, I know he didn't invent color blocking, but I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Gila's, who designed it. Combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, many people will assume he designed it and start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think? There's a picture of James Charles. And then there's a picture of the Teddy Fresh sweatshirt. Okay? They're almost identical. And then James Charles responded and retweeted this and said, when you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection. The original photo. Now, was that of a sunset? Was that of an ice cream cone? Which is interesting to me about all this, I just want to say, okay? That James Charles and Jeffree Star came out with the almost identical tie-dye ice cream cone merch, okay? Sherbet colored merches. And like that, this wasn't a huge issue, but this is a huge issue, right? This color blocking story, right? Which I want to talk about in just a second about. It is kind of an original idea though. What original design picture did you take this from? Could it possibly be this that somebody sent me? Where I have it in here somewhere, hold on a second. So James says that he never has seen this before, right? Well, somebody sent me this picture, and I think this is, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, Larry. Anyway, he's sitting, there he is. That's James' friend. He's been to parties with him and everything recently. He's sitting right there in the hoodie. So, anyway, but like I said, I digress. So James goes on, he says, when you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection. Explained, like, inspired is like, I heard a song and it inspired me to write a poem. I saw a piece of architecture and it made me want to write a song. Or, you know, like, I don't know, like I was walking through the park and I saw two birds chasing each other and it made me think of a drawing that I wanted to do. To see somebody else's design and get inspired by that, yes, maybe, but to do it in a way to make it your own is how it would have to happen. Not to see something that was almost identical to that and turn it that way, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but James, why didn't you just put the picture out for the world to see and let us be the judge? You know what I'm saying? Explained, I've never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You didn't reply. After last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama. Okay. So then Ethan responds and he retweets us and he said, I give you permission to share our combo. You told me you were going to sell them anyway. You also admitted that the similarity wasn't a coincidence. I DM'd you because I wanted to keep this private, but I found your response combative and dismissive. Interesting. I've had interactions with James Charles before in the past that I have found combative and dismissive as well. So would I say that that could be an experience that other people would share? Yes, I would say that that's a fair assumption. So anyway, and then here's a picture of Kim Kardashian putting up his sister, or the sister's merch, which she sent apparently with these gorgeous roses. Now, did everybody that got the PR package get all these beautiful roses too? Or did she just put the roses up there and she had them already? Because I don't know, that's a lot of pretty roses. Is that what you get? You have to send roses? Oh, I didn't know that. I have been sending sunflowers. No wonder. I do love a good sunflower, though. Did you ever read Jerry Spinelli's Stargirl, when she makes a sunflower, her corsage for the school dance? I love that. Or, you know, whatever. I love that so much. But I've been sending sunflowers and tulips. Is that what the problem is? And stargazer lilies, because those are my favorites. Shit, I should have been family friendly. I need to be sending roses. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe he didn't send those to her. So this goes on and on and on. Now, I do want to say that I have a picture from Gila, if I am pronouncing her name correctly, like I said. And she posted this. I guess I might as well share, I'm putting it up here. I might as well share some behind the scenes. This is my first sketch of the color block hoodie from 2017 before we had a logo for Teddy Fresh. And in the other pic is the pink one. This is usually how I work on our color palettes because there were other pictures that James Charles were very similar to theirs as well. The color blocking was almost identical as well, but she's using blue colors instead. So you can see here in the picture where she's sketched them out herself. Now, I further did some investigations of the world because, that's what I do. And I want to tell you that when I Googled, because people were saying, oh, this color blocking is just from the 90s. This is a typical color blocking 90s hoodie, okay? So I Googled, here I will show it for you right here. Let me get up here. Pink, light blue, mint yellow 90s hoodie. Okay, I Googled that. And when I did, after clearing my cache, clearing my cookies and everything, this is what came up. The first one was a Hype House sweatshirt, which doesn't look anything like theirs. And the second one was the Teddy Fresh sweatshirt, okay? There are a couple others that look similar to this. I'm not going to put these up there, but like this one and this. I mean, there's not a lot. There aren't, okay? So if you were going, and I went through probably, I'm not even lying, 100 color blocking sweatshirts. It was so funny because there's, oh, what's the brand called that I can't think of now? Oh, shoot. Tommy Hilfiger did this color blocking shirt from back in the day, and I was like, I remember that from back in the day. That's so funny. But you go through 100 pictures and of color blocking, and there's nothing real similar that comes up to this. So I don't know, James. It's looking really, really bad. I don't think that he's responded to anything about this today. Let me look on Twitter because maybe he has. Do you guys think this is a big deal or do you not think this is a big deal? I know you guys are like, who'd care all day long. I think it's kind of a big deal. No. Good morning, sisters, and happy Friday. There won't be a new video today. Always excuses for why he doesn't come up with a new video. We're working on it too long. And this kills me is when he's like, this one has to be so special that I want to make it right. And then you watch it and you're like, there's nothing really any different about this video than the last video and all this kind of stuff. And oh, by the way, what was the video that he was going to do that was going to break the internet? That wasn't, he said it wasn't JoJo Siwa, right? So are we still waiting to see who the person is going to be that, or maybe that was JoJo Siwa? Anyway, oh, wait, no. Let's see what some of the responses are to all of this. Underneath, yes, God, quite a few people are saying some stuff underneath there to James Charles. He said the DMs are still open. Someone said, how about DM the original color block artist at this point? I think that's a good point. People really need to get a grip. A lot of designs will mimic each other. This is how fashion works. So are people supposed to get pissed off? You guys, the colors are almost identical, okay? Let's just be for real. It's a color. Someone said exactly, and you can find this design anywhere. No, actually, you can't. I looked. That's not true. I looked through probably 100 pictures because I wasn't going to get on here and say that. And then, and my opinion kind of changed when I was looking at it because I was like, there really isn't anything else out there that's closely similar to this. There's maybe 4 or 5 pictures, but the colors are not similar at all. Someone said, at the risk of defending Ethan, normally I kind of roll my eyes at this stuff, but this is exactly the same, like blatantly. I don't believe for a second that James nor his design team have never seen Teddy Fresh before. My 8-year-old has no idea who H3 is, and he knows Teddy Fresh. I don't know who Teddy Fresh is, and I don't know who these people are whatsoever, but I can tell you this right now, that if, like, I just put out some new merch, you know that, right? If somebody contacted me and said, this is an exact design replica of what I did 6 months ago or 2 years ago, and they could prove that to me that it came out first, I would take it down immediately. Immediately, and I would issue an apology. I'd say it's coming down. Immediately. It's bad business. It's a bad look, okay? I am nowhere on the level of James Charles and the followers and the money and the backing that he has, but don't tell me that he doesn't have somebody that he's working with. He has his sister's apparel. Whoever that person is, that Judy Smith that's in charge of public relations and media marketing should have been in research. Those people needed to be in a room yesterday sitting down with James Charles, who claims to want to be this business person even at his age, and say, why did you not do this research to see that there wasn't identical merch out there? Hell, I Googled it with a phone and put color blocking 90s. If he put that in there, he would have seen Teddy Fresh came up there and been like, well, I can't do this sweatshirt because that's the sweatshirt I came up with, unless that's your original artist inspiration, which we haven't seen. So put it out, you know, and then let everybody else be the judge of it. I don't know. It's just very speculative to me. You know, why people don't do their research about this. James doesn't care because he knows that sooner or later people are going to forget about it. Do I think that James knew? In my heart of hearts, do I think that James knew that this merch was out there? No, I don't. But then that leaves you having several solutions. How do you take care of it? You take it down and you apologize. Okay? You screwed up. It's not your design. It looks exactly like somebody else's. All right? Or you say to them, do you care if I leave it up? I've worked very hard on it. I put a lot of money into this. If I take it down, I'm going to lose a lot of money. You know, like whatever. Is there any way for us to work through this? And have a conversation with them and see what they say. Don't just say, I'm going to leave it up. Screw you. Ask them. Put it in their hands if you really want to show that you're growing up, which he claims to be doing, you know? And then the other thing I think is to fire your research person that didn't do their research well enough to find out that there was other merch out there that looks identical to that. You know, this doesn't have to be this deep, huge issue, but it is when you're talking about, like, what broke my heart was when you saw Ethan's wife sitting there. I know 100 people are going to be like, it's not his wife. Well, whoever it is, but I'm assuming it's his wife. And she's sitting there and she's showing you her sketchbook of how she sketched it. I'm like, this is something that she worked hard on this, whether it's color blocking or not. I don't care if it's stencil figures, okay? It came from her mind. It came from her heart, something that she did. And then you see it on a James Charles hoodie and you're like, that's mine on James Charles. Like, I would be hurt by that too, you know? So it's just about doing the right thing. When you rise to the top, it isn't just about your numbers. James Charles is so concerned with, look how many numbers, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, all this stuff, right? But it's really about the public's perception of you as well, because people will forget over time. And when your age group goes away or people aren't interested in you as much as they used to be, look, Jeffree Star can't sell out of his stuff anymore. You know, when that happens to you down the road, what people will remember was how you treated them. So I don't know if this is how James Charles wants, sorry, can't get through a video, I know. I don't know if this is how James Charles wants to be remembered, but I think it's a question that he needs to start asking himself is, as I get older, how do I want to be remembered? Who do I want to be when people look back on me, you know? And we can't just say we can't just say, oh, everything in my last 10 years of my life has been a learning experience. I mean, some of it has to be thought out decisions at that time. I mean, he is a huge businessman, you know? So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.